Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to the School of Science. My name is Luke and this is the post-match reaction for Everton vs Newcastle. Everton 0, Newcastle 0. Now, overall, game was, I'll give it a 6 out of 10 in terms of games that we played so far this season. We defended rather well. Newcastle did actually try and test us quite a lot throughout that game. We tried to test Newcastle, especially in the first 20 minutes. We did actually really give Newcastle a good test. The Decore goal, that one was a bit of a debate. You could probably argue whether it was offside or onside. Now, if we didn't have VAR, I do think that goal would have actually stood. It was one of those sort of goals. If VAR wasn't a thing in the Premier League and you came back to Match of the Day and watched it, you would have said, yeah, you would have given it an and an ah, and you go, it might have been offside, but it was goal. Yeah, I think it was still a goal. It's one of them, you know? But yeah, after that one, that was pretty much Newcastle's wake-up alarm, and from there, every 3 attacks they had at us, we were able to sort of match them with one. And about the 35th minute, we had a bit of a moment there where Tarkowski forgot that he was, playing football and thought he was playing WWE and decided to give one of the Newcastle players a good old Big Show slam. He basically put the guy into the ground. So, as we know, when it comes to corners, players are grabbing each other, they're, tugging at each other, they're grabbing the shirts, they're giving them one of them. But you try and be the better person, You've got to be a lot more clever when it comes to stopping your opposition from getting any advantage over you. And Tarkowski went about it, in my personal opinion, the wrong way. So in that moment there, instead of just, going for a quick shirt pull or push him away, he grabbed him, both parts of the shirt, went across and wham, straight into the floor. That's some more penalty. I'm surprised he didn't get booked or even sent off for something like that. Then again, he couldn't really get sent off for it because it's one of them where it's debatable. It wasn't like a deliberate handball in the box. It wasn't a really serious foul where he could have ended the guy's career. It's not something like that. It's not an ankle breaker. It was shirt pulling and thrown to the floor. But regardless, don't bloody do that, especially not in the box. So yeah, coming to the penalty, Anthony Gordon steps up to the mark, and from what I saw and probably what the rest of the stadium saw, it wasn't there. His eyes, they screamed no confidence. They screamed a million thoughts at once. Everything about him just did not say that penalty was going to go in. Basically, stood over the ball, looking down at it, looking back up, looking down, looking back up. Deep breaths. His entire posture was just not there for it. And Pickford, rightly so, chose the right way, got a knee to it, sent it to safety. And the Gladys Street, the entire stadium erupted. It basically got louder than when we thought we'd initially scored. I'm just thinking now, that was probably as loud as the Calvert-Lewin goal against Liverpool last season. That's how loud it was. And rightly so. I mean, a penalty save in some situations is as important as a goal, because when it comes to penalties, I believe it's like 90% of penalties that are hit go in. So we've basically just beat the odds by about 9-1, 10-1. But yeah, over the course of the rest of that first half, it was pretty placid to say the least. There was attempts and everything, but there wasn't too much that stood out in regards to the first half. Likewise with the second half. Second half, there were moments. Dwight McNeil had a bit of an effort that went awry, so nice little cross came in. He called for it. Decore obliged and ducked down. But at that point, McNeil had mistimed his hit, and instead of the ball getting thundered into the goal, ball came from the bottom of his foot, bounced off him, and basically just got picked up by a Newcastle player and was off on its way. And then later on in the second half, there was a moment where Everton arguably could have got a penalty. I would more than likely say it was a penalty. A lot of people are saying it's not. Some people are saying that it is. It's one for a serious debate. Now, myself, Calvert-Lewin had a shot at goal. Pope had saved it. Calvert-Lewin went for another shot with his left foot. Granted, it's his weaker foot, but still, he can shoot with his left foot. We've seen it. And Shaw somehow managed to get in his way. Calvert-Lewin kicked him, and apparently, a lot of people have been looking at the replays. Shaw actually catches Calvert-Lewin's right foot as well. Hence the reason why when Calvert-Lewin had kicked it and went down alongside Shaw, there was all that debate. So he kicked it, Shaw's foot, he connected with Shaw's foot, and Shaw's foot connected with Calvert-Lewin's right foot. So essentially, when you think about it, he basically did foul him. I would happily argue that. I know a lot of people are going to say, no. He kicked his foot first. And he took both of his feet out. Shaw took both of his feet out. So when Calvert-Lewin went down, brought his foot through. Also, bear in mind, Fabian Shaw came from behind him. And from there, it was a simple situation of Shaw can see what he's doing. Calvert-Lewin cannot. Also, I know a lot of people are saying, what was it they were saying? A lot of people have been saying a lot about this whole situation. But like I said, Calvert-Lewin was ahead of him. He had a clear shot on goal. Shaw got between his feet. And he ends up kicking Shaw rather than kicking the ball. I mean, myself, I personally think that's all biases aside, I think that's a penalty. But yeah. But over the course of that game, there was moments where Everton sort of were playing like when they played against Tottenham, they were playing poor and a bit disjointed. And then there was times when they played really well, like when we were playing against Bournemouth. There was just a lot of moments on it. And to be honest, I was more than likely going to say that we were going to get absolute chance today just based on the lineup. I mean, don't get me wrong. Ashley Young has come a long way in a couple of games. He's actually really improved a lot. And it's more in the sense that he's not running himself ragged. He's not making stupid challenges anymore. He's pacing himself. And he's doing it in a brilliant way. So for a guy who's, I'm not sure whether he's 38 or 39, playing at this level and being able to still learn and adapt, he is an athlete amongst his own in that regard. Iliman and Dye as well. Iliman and Dye across that entire left midfield, he made that his entire domain. There was moments there where it took 2 to 3 Newcastle players to dispossess him, and even then, all he had to do was dink the ball past them. He got past that. He basically, ball was gone. He then got over them somehow. Basically, there's times where there was extended feet. He'd be straight over it and gone before they've even managed to turn around and see what the hell's just happened. He's a player on his own. He's someone, I think, if you give him enough time, once he adapts to this league, he is going to be someone who's going to be renowned in this league for being one of those sort of players. He's got the entire skill set, and the disjointed way that he runs and moves with that ball makes it even harder for you to sort of read him. I've watched that so many times. So his upper torso is going here. His legs are over here. He jostles and turns, so he's going left, right, and then all of a sudden, bam, bam, then there, then bam, bam, bam. There's no consistency with his legs and his body. It's like the two independent things altogether. And it's what some of the best footballers in history have got about them. But that's, to be honest, if I was to talk about modern day football now, so we'll say the mid-2010s to now, one of the things I don't like about it is it's lost its flourish and flair. A lot of the players now, they're fast, athletic, and they can hit a ball hard. That's it. Well, and they can read the game as well. There's no Ronaldinho-esque sort of players or Lionel Messi-esque players, or even Cristiano Ronaldo in a way. There's none of them sort of players who, when they have that ball, you don't know what they're going to do. Most of them are fairly one-dimensional. I mean, that's Everton now as well. We are a very one-dimensional team. Basically, punt it long, get it to Calvert-Lewin, and he gets dispossessed. We need a better striker for that sort of thing. But back to it. We are missing... Well, the entire world of football is missing that fancy flourish football where there was actual true skill, where the likes of the people like Ronaldinho, where they would be able to basically get the ball from up high, get it on a dime, move with it, and they're weaving in and out of defenders. I do so much miss that sort of day of football. But to be honest, so that's the evolution of football. We know the fast, hard-hitting players who can hit a ball hard and can read the game are the more preferred player rather than the fancy flourish people, the likes of the Jack Harrisons, the Iliman and Dyes. Those sorts of people in football now, they're not they're not surplus to need anymore. It's a shame, really, though, because I did love that. I think if Iliman Ndiaye's speed was sit up there a bit more, he would be up there with one of the world's best, just based on his skill set alone. Because he'd be fast, he'd be strong, he'd be talented, he'd be tricky. He'd have everything pretty much all wrapped up in one person. But yeah, overall though, that game, it was a good game. Like I said, it was a 6 out of 10 game. We did have good moments, we had bad moments, likewise with Newcastle. And it was a game where it could have went either way. I mean, all it would have taken is maybe if Dwight McNeil would have got a bit of more of a solid hit, if Anthony Gordon didn't crap himself, if Almiron plays a little bit better, if Iliman Ndiaye had just taken a solid hit, if Calvert-Lewin didn't get his legs taken from him, it could have went either way. I think a draw was probably the fairest result overall. And to be honest, I'm happy with that. I am happy with that. It's not me accepting mediocrity or anything like that. I just think going into this international break, our first clean sheet of the season, Pickford has a solid game as well. We can build on this. There's quite a few players, to be honest, who are actually going out on this international break. So I think it's, let's see, so it's Pickford, Iliman Ndiaye, Idrissa Gueye, anyone else? I think that's it, really. It's about 3 people going out. But to be honest, though, those 3 are fairly, critical to the squad. So I think what we need to do during this international break is definitely, instead of trying to condition the players and getting them doing their gaffer days and all that, I think we need to work on positioning as well as, how can I put it, transition of play. So being able to push it from defence to attack. We are in serious need of doing that. Oh, that was another one. Jake O'Brien, we need to seriously stop playing him. He can't keep languishing on the bench. I've spoken to a few people who were in the Republic of Ireland, and they're not happy with seeing Jake O'Brien on the bench. He needs to be making more features, and he's even been dropped out of the Ireland squad because he's not been getting any game time. And it's really sad to see because he's a really good defender with a lot of potential. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much everything for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching the video. Apologies for no Bramley Moore video as of yet. There should be one either Monday morning or Tuesday morning, just based on weather as well as other things outside things. As I've said, the family is currently in mourning for the loss of one of a very close family member. And I don't want to go into too much detail because it's fairly personal and everything. But I do appreciate you guys and the continued support. I am back on camera now. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video again. So yeah, guys, I'd like to say again, thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys have a great weekend and peace.